All right, you guys, we have some breaking news coming out of New Orleans, Louisiana. It appears as if the New Orleans mayor, LaToya Cantrell, is being indicted. I don't want to talk too much right now because the press conference is literally live right now. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute so we can take a listen to see what's going on.
Personal relationship was illegal. When Vappy and Cantrell learned that the news media was investigating their time together in the Pentalba, they agreed amongst themselves to be, quote unquote, straight and together. Days after the first news stories broke in November of 2022, Vappy conducted numerous online searches for New Orleans area attorneys who specialize in the practice of criminal law. And he researched WhatsApp's security features. But the defendant's wire fraud scheme nevertheless continued all the way until Vappy's retirement in June of 2024. As alleged in the superseding indictment in July 2023, the grand jury issued subpoenas to both Vappy and Cantrell, compelling the production of records. The FBI also interviewed Vappy, and during the interview, Vappy lied about the nature and circumstances of his relationship with Cantrell. In response to the subpoena, Cantrell produced a selection of responsive records, but none of the over 15,000 WhatsApp messages that she had exchanged with Vappy. Cantrell also created an affidavit, sworn under oath, that in 2021 she had activated a feature on her phone that automatically deleted messages. In support of that statement in her affidavit, Cantrell submitted a screenshot of her iPhone showing WhatsApp messages were set to delete in 24 hours.
Oh, Lord, here we go again. New Orleans has just made history, but not for Mardi Gras or for jazz or for crawfish. Nope, it ain't that this time. This time they're being made famous for being the first city in history to have its sitting mayor slapped with a federal indictment while still in office. Y'all, Mayor LaToya Cantrell, the Black Queen with a K, Democrat, Queen of the Woke Parade, and self-appointed guardian of equity. Y'all, she's literally just now been charged with conspiracy, wire fraud, obstruction, false statement, and a few other greatest hits from the political corruption playlist. It just gets rich. And here's the kicker, though. At the center of all of this is a man. Yeah. Another Black female Democrat tripping over power and pride and pillow talk, and there's a boo thing in the middle of all of this. So stick around, you guys, because we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about the charges, the messy romance, the political fallout, and why this is part of a bigger pattern that I have been seeing and have been warning you guys about for a while. So let's get into it. Grace and peace, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakable with April Chapman, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. I am your host, April Chapman, and today, whoo, child, listen, Linda. Today is one for the Political Scandal Hall of Fame, honey. It's going to get crazy. So, first of all, there's this indictment. Let's just break this down. Today, LaToya Cantrell, the mayor of New Orleans, was recently indicted on multiple federal charges. Y'all, this was the result of a long-running investigation into corruption and misuse of power, and brace yourselves. There's an alleged romantic affair with her former police bodyguard, Jeffrey Vappy. And I may have covered this last year. I can't remember. It's so hard to keep up with this woman. But the feds say that they were using encrypted messages, deleting evidence, falsifying payrolls, lying about phone settings, and meeting up in a city-owned apartment for some extracurricular activities. Y'all, as if this could not be like the plot of some bad political soap opera, there's this kickback scheme also that's involved in this, where a building inspector allegedly bribed Cantrell with Saints tickets, an iPhone, and some steak dinners, all in exchange for firing a certain city employee who was going to blow the whistle. So y'all take a look at this clip.
This indictment does not allege that a relationship constitutes a crime. It also does not allege that the criminal activity occurred on merely a handful of discrete days, or that the behavior was limited to a small series of discrete actions. Rather, it reflects the prosecution of two public officials alleged to have engaged in a years-long continuing fraud scheme that used public money for personal ends by exploiting their power and their authority. The superseding indictment alleges that they perpetuated that fraud scheme by taking steps to keep individuals silent, to deceive subordinates, and to obstruct investigations into their relationship, including one conducted by a federal grand jury. I'd like to make several things clear, if I may. First, my office remains steadfast in its commitment to rooting out public corruption in any form without fear or favor within the Eastern District of Louisiana. And by the term public corruption, I mean public officials exploiting their positions and their power for their own personal gain. Public officials should be in their jobs to serve the public and not themselves. To do otherwise is a breach of the trust that undermines the public's faith and trust in their own government. Second, this investigation remains ongoing, and I would encourage anyone with information to come forward and to do so quickly.
So the feds say that these two were using encrypted messages, deleting evidence, falsifying payrolls, lying about the phone settings, and don't forget this part, meeting up in a city-owned apartment for some extracurricular activities. Like, this is an apartment that the city owns. Now, as if this wasn't some bad political soap opera, there's also a kickback scheme where a building inspector allegedly bribed LaToya Cantrell with Saints tickets and an iPhone and some steak dinners in exchange for firing a city employee who dared blow the whistle. Now, this sounds like the plot of an episode of Scandal. It's because these people are so predictable that you could literally set your watch to their downfall. The only difference is there's no Olivia Pope gonna show up to fix this mess. This is not TV. This is real life. Now, you know it's bad when your legacy boils down to, well, she brought back Mardi Gras after COVID and wire fraud. Like, that's all we got. Literally, that is what the legacy of this mayoral candidate is going to be remembered by. So let's look at the pattern here, because this is where it gets interesting. Because LaToya is not alone in this storyline, some of y'all do y'all remember Megan Barry, the mayor of Nashville, who got taken down in 2018 for an affair with her bodyguard? Do y'all remember that? Well, it seems like that there's a script floating around that says, step one, you get elected. Then step two is you got to get cozy with your security detail. Then step three is trade your integrity for some adrenaline. And then step four, you got to cry foul when the consequences hit the fan. I mean, let's be real. This is not just about LaToya Cantrell. Yes, this video is about her, but I've noticed that there is a disturbing pattern among certain Black female Democrats in leadership positions for some reason they seem to think that their position makes them untouchable. So it's like they're using the melanin as this shield to shield them from criticism, and they wrap themselves in this armor of identity politics, claiming persecution. Whenever accountability shows up, then it's like, oh, I'm being persecuted. Listen, no, you're not. Here's the problem. The problem is that you can be brilliant and beautiful and articulate and all those things. But if you lack wisdom, you're going to self-destruct. Proverbs 16:18 says it like this: pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. And so this is the kind of fall that you don't walk away from with just a bruised ego. This fall is gonna hurt. The truth is, the thirst for power mixed with unchecked emotion and poor personal boundaries, all of that is a recipe for public disgrace. And the same communities that all of these women claim to be fighting for, they're the ones left holding the bag while their leader's name is dragged through the federal court filings. I mean, this is just embarrassing at this point. I'm starting to lose count of how many Black female Democrats in power are there left that have yet to fall. It's almost like it ain't a matter of if they're gonna fall, it is when. So speaking of fallout, let's talk about fallout for a moment. This is not just about one woman's bad decisions. New Orleans has some real serious problems, y'all. The crime, the infrastructure collapse, the economic stability. And now you've got this lame duck mayor who's politically isolated. You've got the city council down there. They've been at odds with this woman for years. And she barely survived a recall effort back in 2022. And then just last year, voters stripped her away of her key powers through a charter reform. And so, translation, she's been running the city on fumes. And now this indictment has officially turned her into a political ghost. Now, the truth is she's term limited anyway. And her term is up in January of 2026. But now she's not going out with a bang, but with the kind of courtroom drama that leaves this permanent stain on the city's history. Like, this is embarrassing. The culture's watching. The world is watching. I mean, the people, they're the ones who are going to suffer because, listen, streets need repair and crime is still rampant down in New Orleans. Businesses are still struggling. But when you put corrupt, self-serving leaders in charge and you vote for people because they look like you and they check all the intersectionality boxes, you cannot be surprised when these people will spend more time dodging subpoenas than fixing the darn potholes. That's just the truth. So let's zoom out a little bit and just look at a spiritual layer here. Proverbs 21:2 says, every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the heart. Listen, you can justify your actions all day long. You can claim that it's the media. The media is out to get you, right? You can say that. You can say the feds are targeting you because you're Black and because you're female. Or you could even say, well, my personal life, it should be off limits. All of those things may be true. But God doesn't care about your press releases, okay? He cares about the truth and you doing what you were supposed to do. And this is what the people elected you to do. This is not what they elected you to do. They elected you to run the city, right? And so when leaders put their personal pleasure above the public trust, and when they use power to feed the flesh instead of serving the people, they've already stepped onto this path of destruction. And the scary part is that these stories aren't just cautionary tales for politicians. These are stories and warnings for all of us. So here is the takeaway. Power without humility is a recipe for poison. Okay, listen, you can have a romance like this, but without wisdom, it is going to lead to your ruin. And identity No one cares about your identity if it is absent of integrity. That right there is a one-way ticket to public disgrace. So to all my conservative sisters and brothers out there, y'all, let this be a wake-up call. And to my liberal Democrats who y'all don't like me no way, when are you gonna realize that integrity matters more than melanin count? When are you going to learn that it is wisdom and a person demonstrating an ability to do a job well and to walk upright before you? Those are the people who deserve your vote. And so if you guys want to be truly unshakable, if you truly want to be able to live in this world and use discernment, you have to be anchored in the truth of God's word, not in titles, not in a political party, and definitely not based on the opinions of the crowd. Do not put your trust in princes, right? Or there's no salvation in that. Don't put your faith in these politicians, because it's not a matter of if they're going to fail you. It could be a matter of when. Put your faith in the one who never will fail you, and start using some discernment when you go to the polls and research these people. And as soon as they start showing you signs that they are going or have already betrayed your trust, stop giving them the benefit of the doubt and get them out of office. Y'all had the opportunity to get this woman out of office, and she survived it, but she shouldn't have. And so that's it for today, you guys. I just wanted to bring that story to you. I want you to make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. I really want to know, do you guys think that LaToya Cantrell is just another corrupt politician who got caught? Or do you think she's being targeted and there's more to this story because, they can't see a black woman rise? Like, if that's what you think, let me know. But also, do you guys think that this is a pattern among Democrat leaders, like female Democrat leaders? Why is it all of them are going down in flames? I need you to let me know down in the comments box below. But until next time, you guys, stay bold, stay rooted, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.